Good morning, everyone. My name is Dan. This is Anglegeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate it. If you're watching me over on Facebook, please feel free to go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And vice versa, if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to go over and like my Facebook business page. In my daily videos that I put up every day on the YouTube channel, there is a drop-down video description that you might want to check out. In there, it shows you how to get in contact with me, how to find all of that information so that you can follow me and follow the channel if you feel so inclined. This is the monthly Tarotscope for the sign of Leo for the month of July, which is the end half of July will be the beginning of Leo season. So, we'll see what the reading has to say for the Leos. This is a collective reading, so keeping that in mind, it is a broad spectrum reading intended for anybody with a Leo sun, moon, or rising, or if you have heavily placed planets in Leo. So I would consider heavily placed planets 3 or more, right? So if you have like 3 different planets in Leo, you may want to watch this because it could indicate what kind of July you may have, or what could be, affecting you either positively or negatively. If you're here cross-watching, that's more than welcome. And you can certainly share this video out with your Leo friends. And what else did I want to say? If this doesn't resonate with you, if for some reason like it doesn't make sense, or you're like, I don't really feel connected to this reading, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. You might be working on something different. It could be the houses that your planets are in that can affect everything. There's 12 different houses. Also, the degrees to which your planets are in the sign of Leo can also affect it, right? So kind of take what you need and leave the rest is sort of the idea with these readings, right? So take what works and apply it in the best way you know how, and the rest you can just kind of, leave behind if you like. All right, so let's see what's going on. For the first card, I'm using the Oracle of Mystical. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with a Frenchie on my lap, guys. He has, just as an aside, my dog, Gabriel, he is a cusp baby. He is on the cusp of Scorpio and Sag, so I think the Sag part of him is out here to support the fire signs today. And he is insistent upon sitting on my lap while I try and shuffle cards. So he is here in support of my fire signs and certainly my Leos. So the first card is the signifier. This kind of gives me a little bit, it's sort of like the guide card for the month. It tells me a little bit about what you guys might want to focus on or take into account. It could be a theme for the month. It really all depends on how the cards play out. So we'll see. But it is from the Oracle of Mystical Moments. And so it is interesting. Moon Dance, card number 4. So I like this card. It's rather pretty. It's a little bit kind of cool for my Leos. Let's say that. Like the color scheme seems rather cool, a little bit drab. I kind of see my Leos as a little bit more, what's the word? Like exuberant, lively, fiery, obviously, because you guys are fire signs. But, when you associate lions, you think of golds, oranges, those kind of colors, right? And so with this, to me, this feels very sort of dreamlike because she's carrying that moon on that string, right? She's also walking a bit of a tightrope. So I kind of feel like there could be something that's going on in the dream state for the Leos this month. It could be about just sort of relaxing, self-care, sort of going inward. That's sort of the vibe that I'm getting from this card. That's not necessarily a super Leo trait to me. Leos tend to be very sociable, very outwardly oriented. You guys like to be the center of attention or the life of the party, supporting others, providing for others. I think that you guys get a real sense of purpose or a feeling of fulfillment from doing that. But to me, this card feels a little bit more somber, right? A little bit more eternally focused. That moon up at the top of the card to me gives me that kind of feeling of introspection, or maybe a review of some sort may take place during this month. Just like a mental or emotional review. I don't get a bad sense from this card or like anything like that. It just feels very calm, almost peaceful. The idea that she's walking on this tightrope is a little bit sort of interesting to me, but I like that this is card number 4. Fours to me always induce this sense of stability, or this sort of goal of stability. So you guys might be assessing where you want to be, how you want things to look this month, or maybe by August, by the second half of Leo season. There might be a period in the beginning of July while we are in, oh Jesus, I can't even think, Cancer season, right? Oh my God, I'm brain farting. While we're in, while we're in Cancer, you might be in the beginning of July sort of contemplating, looking at things, assessing your dreams. And the reason why I mean assessing, like the idea of moon dance to me feels like dancing around with our dreams, right? And that's what I mean by assessment, is sort of looking at them. Are they practical? Are they realistic? How do we get there? Do we feel, that's the tightrope to me now. I'm just sort of getting a hit on the tightrope. Do we feel constricted by some of our dreams or where it is we want to be in the world? Is it hard for us to believe that we can take ourselves right there at this time, right? I'm not saying that it actually is. I'm saying maybe we feel constricted in some way that we haven't in the past, right? And Leos, let's just face it, Leos do not like to be constricted in any way, shape, or form. They do their best when they have like kind of free reign to be who they are and to live lavishly and to enjoy life and provide for others. This card to me feels a little bit more like that tightrope's got me giving me this feeling of we might not be able to live as out loud as we normally do. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Again, if it doesn't, take what you need and leave the rest. Now we're going to try and do this reading with the dog on the lap. So bear with me, guys. This first card is where you guys are centered at for the majority of the month. You'll go in and out of this card. The reason why we look at it is not only to get a sense of where you guys are kind of at, what your general attitude is for the month of July, but also what you could potentially be creating in the future, because where we're sort of vibing at kind of attracts to us whatever it is that we're putting out, right? So keeping that in mind, let's see what this is. Okay, interesting. Makes sense with this card, let's just say that. So this is the High Priestess, Major Arcana. So it's probably right out of the gate, I'm going to say it's going to be a big month. Now, the High Priestess to me would certainly connect to Moon Dance. She would also connect to the sort of gray hues, the bluishness, the moony aspect of this card, the nighttime aspect of this card, spirituality of this card, the secrets, the introspection, the spiritual knowledge, the awareness, right? I don't necessarily feel like my Leos are going to be sort of the most verbal, right? The High Priestess usually has a kind of a connection to awareness and patience, right? She tends to know her secrets and doesn't necessarily divulge them completely. I do like this card for you guys in the sense that it feels like you guys will be in a place of awareness, knowledge, power even, right? But you may not necessarily want to share that, right? You may not necessarily, there could be some plans in the midst, is sort of my feeling with this. Especially with this Moon Dance, because if we look at that girl on the tightrope, she is heading somewhere, right? She's in movement. She's listening to that moon or to her dreams, to her higher self. And the High Priestess would certainly represent that, right? That connection to one's higher self. And we are, like I said, going into Leo season. So we should feel excited. By the end of July, we should feel excited, empowered, all of that sort of stuff. And the High Priestess would certainly represent that for my Leos. I will say that High Priestess is associated with the sign of Pisces. Again, very intuitive, can be emotional. So that's some of also these gray hues that I'm seeing here that feel kind of a little bit more on the somber side or introspective side. So if you guys find yourself taking inventory or taking stock in whatever you're doing, that's fine. The High Priestess is smart enough, capable enough, wise enough to kind of assess, like now would be the time to do the assessments, if that makes sense, right? So where we're at, how we're feeling, what we intuitively know to be true, these things should be key in the month of July. Now let's go to the foundation card. This card tells me what everything is built upon. It's also a card from the past that kind of lets me know what was going on in the past that opened the door for things to be the way that they are today, right? It is also sort of the memory of this card that can be either holding everything in place or pushing things into the future. So be aware of that. So let's see what this is. So this is the Five of Cups. So again, water, similar to the High Priestess, which is associated with the water sign of Pisces. The Five of Cups to me, and this also, I have to say, with these two leading and Moon Dance, it does feel a little bit like not your most comfortable self. Let's just say that, Leo. I'm not angry at these cards or worried about these cards, but they do feel a little bit more emotional. It's not to say that you guys aren't emotional, but these feel a little bit more sad or maybe depressed in a way. This Five of Cups heralds back to a time where things weren't necessarily coming together emotionally the way that we would expect. The Five of Cups is kind of about the crying over spilled milk, not necessarily only seeing the bad, only seeing what's not working, or maybe what's not working being very prevalent in our field of vision. So our attention is on, how do I fix this? How do I make this right? And we're missing the point, or we're missing what is good in our life, right? And I think that Leos have a sort of predisposition to being extremely positive people. So this doesn't feel like your natural energy to me, but it does feel like something that you had to deal with. It does feel like something that was maybe a setback of some sort that, made you probably have to stop your plans or your movement forward. I do feel like with Moon Dance and with the High Priestess in the center, I do feel like that movement forward is about to begin again in the month of July. And it's about maybe being a little bit wiser, a little bit smarter, and a little bit more aware of what can happen, if that makes sense. I feel like the Five of Cups feels unexpected to me. So it would have been something that quite possibly arose unexpectedly, that wasn't foreseen, that maybe took you by a little bit of surprise. And we're talking about in the past, caused some emotional upset, a pause, a block maybe, or didn't allow you to move forward. You had to maybe stop and fix things or reassess, that kind of a thing. Whatever it was, I do feel like it's hopefully past, or that we're beyond it. Certainly with the High Priestess, she's empowered, right? But I feel like we're a little bit, the High Priestess, her secretive nature, or her kind of hiding in the background sort of aspect to her, right? She can be a bit elusive, is not very leonine to me. But I feel like we're wiser for having gone through what we've gone through with this Five of Cups. And fives are always transitory, in the sense that it's not something that's going to stay with us forever. But it did have its fair impact on us, let's say that. So the next card is up above you. This is the Spirit or Soul card. This tells me what your spirit or soul is like kind of working on or focusing on, putting its attention on in the month of July. So we have the Nine of Wands. I'll take it for my Leos. Wands is that fire energy. It is that sort of your home element. It is also associated with the spirit. So I like that this is showing up in your spirit space. It's very much in alignment. Not only is it fire energy that goes along with Leo, but it's the spirit, the element of spirit up in the spirit space. Nines can represent, to me, about personal completions or coming to terms with maybe a situation, a scenario, whatever, where we are reaching sort of the end, like coming into understanding, coming into awareness. The Nine of Wands can be also about sort of maybe drawing some boundaries, putting things into place so that maybe things don't, and the reason why I'm going this route is because of this Five of Cups in the foundation, putting in some boundaries or some precautions in a way, so that things don't maybe occur again, is the feeling that I'm getting when I look at this Five of Cups. It's not to say that it will, but I get this sense that through adversity, you've become smarter, Leo. You've become wiser at some level. There might be, you've taken some hits or some dings in a way that maybe have stripped away a little bit of your fun-loving nature, but I almost get a sense that you've been given some sort of deeper awareness or understanding that you're now maybe putting to work for yourself in the month of July. And in doing so, you're kind of trying to steer the ship towards what it is that you desire, what it is that you want, but you're cautious, you're careful, you're being sort of, you're not like laying all your cards out on the table immediately. You're not as available maybe to, you know, people, situations. Like to me, this feels, like I said, from the get-go, from Moondance, it feels far more introspective. It feels far more inwardly motivated rather than outwardly motivated. And I see you guys as much more extrovert than introvert. And to me, this is about taking care of oneself first and foremost this month. So let's look at the outside influences. The next two cards are what are influencing you either positively or negatively in the month of July. These can be people, sometimes events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us that, you know, maybe we've been taught or have adopted, but they're not really of us. We just kind of have adopted them. So let's see what they are. So one is the King of Pentacles. Not mad at him. He's always a welcome card in any reading. When it's in the outside influences, the court cards can usually represent as people. So this could be an older gentleman of the earth sign variety, right? So we're talking Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. Doesn't have to necessarily be that, but it usually can indicate that. This can be a master manifester. This can be somebody that wants to collaborate, create, certainly make wealth or opportunity for you and them. And the reason why I say that is because you guys are operating at this high priestess place this month, and she would be in direct kind of complement to the King of Pentacles because she's associated with the sign of Pisces. That earth-water mix there is very complementary, even though that's not Leo's natural state, right? For some reason, maybe Leo's a little bit wiser, and this King of Pentacles may know that or see that and want to work with that in helping Leo forward or assisting Leo in how to maybe create opportunity for themselves or for those around them. The King of Pentacles is always very generous, similar to how Leo has its own generosity. I get a feeling with that High Priestess, though, you guys might be a little bit reluctant to want to be generous again or to be exposed, open, that sort of a thing. But the King of Pentacles might be the one that sort of teaches you how to do that again or how to trust that again. If the King of Pentacles is a situation or like say an energy that's not necessarily a specific person, again, all of those things would apply. I think that this could be opportunities to create wealth, abundance, in our material experience, right? So we're talking about like actual money, changes of jobs, the betterment of our home. He can even sometimes represent the betterment of our relationships or the quality of the relationships that we have. With that High Priestess card again in the center, it could feel like we're a little bit cautious within those relationships or those scenarios. But I feel like the King of Pentacles is always, like I said, a welcome card in any reading. He wants to provide for us. He wants to teach us how to provide for ourselves. And Leo knows how to do that. But he will certainly be an asset rather than a detriment this month. So let's see what the other influence is. Okay, so the other influence is the Seven of Swords. So to me, the Seven of Swords is the liar, cheater, stealer card, right? Not the best of influences, let's just say that. The Seven of Swords can indicate lies. It can indicate betrayals of some sort. It can indicate, and as I'm saying this to you, I'm getting this hit here that this may not be something that's present time that you're experiencing in July. This could be, and I'm going to go back to this Five of Cups right here because I think that there may be a connection between these two cards, or at least that's what I'm feeling. With the Seven of Swords, I think that there could be a lingering remembrance or memory around us of having been betrayed, lied to, let down. Our expectations were not returned. There might be relationships or situations that we've been involved in that were not equitable, like as far as reciprocated, shared, what's the word I'm looking at? How do I want to say this? I'm stumbling over my words. One moment. Okay, so this Five of Cups, wherever this is in your past, Leo, and for each one of you, it may be further back or more recent. It really depends on where this card and what I'm talking about takes you to, what place in your life it takes you to. But I feel like at that time, you were let down. You were emotionally set back. There was a sadness or a something that you had to deal with where stuff maybe fell apart or outside of your control. It stopped your movement forward or your plan as you saw it. I think that some of this Seven of Swords is the memory of that. Or, I mean, for some of you, it could be a present time betrayal or lie that comes into our awareness. But I think for the majority of you, I get the sense that these two cards are connected. This is what happened. This is sort of the memory or the thought, the idea, the energy that lingers in the now. And the reason why I say that is I feel like we have this generous sort of either energy or person that wants to help us out of the rut that we're in. And we're kind of battling between, do I trust them or this situation, this energy, or not? Am I careful? And this high priestess, she's smart, don't get me wrong, and she's very able, but she's also sort of, there's always like a hidden aspect to her that makes me feel like we're not 100% sure we want to take the risk at this time. So be mindful of that. It doesn't necessarily feel like a bad thing. It just feels like we could be haunted a little bit by things of the past that make us, I don't know, distrustful in a way. And I kind of feel like that is not a very Leo quality either. I feel like you guys want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and you want to trust. I mean, if they do you wrong, certainly they're probably dead to you at that point, Leo. But for me, this feels far more cautious than I kind of attribute your sign to be. Does that make sense? Because you guys are the kings of the jungle, right? You guys know how to take care of yourself and others. You've never sort of, I don't know, it's funny, like now I'm seeing that whole thing, you know, with the lion with the thorn in its paw. Like the thorn in its paw is this Five of Cups. It's like something happened that took you by surprise and had an effect, Leo. All right, so let's look at the final outcome card. Now, this final outcome card is sort of where things are naturally heading, barring that nothing major changes, but it's not set in stone. I call it actually the potential outcome. It tells me or indicates a little bit about where you guys will all end up, or the majority of you will end up at the end of the month, barring that nothing major changes. The good thing about this is if it's a negative outcome, we can use it right now as a warning to make choices and changes and decisions through free will to affect the outcome so the card does not come to pass. But if it is a good card, we can take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards it and we're just going to arrive as we, you know, continue along in our progress. So let's see what that is. All right, so this is the Six of Wands. This is actually a good card to end out this month on. I feel like you get your mojo back with the Six of Wands at the end of the month, right? The Six of Wands is about being heralded, being recognized, being validated, being appreciated. There's the celebration that comes along with that. I do like that it is ending on a Wands card, which is that fiery spirit energy that's so in line with Leo. Anything that's felt uncomfortable this month or secretive or that we've held back on, we've made the right decisions, is my feeling. Does that make sense? Because not only do we have that Nine of Wands up in the spirit space, but the High Priestess has a lot of wisdom within her. And although we may not be acting as outwardly or as extroverted as we normally would like to, or as we normally feel as though is like our natural way of being, whatever's going on here in these, sorry, my dog's starting to snore. These two upper cards here, the present moment or the where we're at, and then the spirit card, say to me that Leo's very keyed into their own internal guidance this month. That's also this direct line to the moon and moon dance. We're doing this sort of we're listening to our higher selves this month. We are maybe being cautious, accessing our spiritual information more so than what maybe is on offer to us around us. Does that make sense? The Six of Wands always indicates celebration and opportunity. I don't know if I can show you guys this, but can you guys, oh, you can't really see him, I guess, because of the crystal that's up there. There's a red cardinal outside the window right now. It's kind of cool to see that flash of red while I'm doing the Leo reading. But the Six of Wands is always celebratory. It's always about sort of being not exonerated, well, maybe exonerated in this scenario, but also being honored in some way, shape, or form. And so to me, that's kind of where Leo loves to be, right? You guys love to have your sort of mane stroked in a way, or to be appreciated. And it's not, to me, from an egoic kind of place. It's from that sort of, you guys feel good when you do good and you're acknowledged for that good that you do, is sort of the feeling that I get, right? And so to me, it feels like we may actually, as Leo season begins in the second half of July and we move into the end of July, we really do get to understand that whatever we've gone through in the past, we've maybe transitioned out of it. We're a little bit smarter. We're a little bit wiser. And hopefully with this Seven of Swords that's here, we kind of shake some of that, or that opportunity for others to maybe either lie to us, let us down, or betray us in some way. I think that we've learned something in the course of whatever this Five of Cups moment was from the past. So it does look like the month will end out better. If you are feeling introspective, quieter than normal, or more sort of needing downtime or alone time, me time in a way, take it this month, Leo. Allow yourself that. There's wisdom in it. There is an opportunity. There is actually even joy in it. And I think that the funny thing is this is called Moon Dance. And so in the end, after we sort of do this dance with our higher self in the first and midpoint of July, we really do get to sort of crack out our dancing shoes by the end of July with this Six of Wands showing up and celebrate exactly who we are and what we've been through. Okay, that is your forecast for the month of July. I hope you enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you're interested in following the daily forecasts that are for all signs every day. And I will look forward to seeing you guys next month. The next sign to go will be Sagittarius. I'll be doing that probably in about an hour. All right, have a good day, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.